On two couches talking sports?
Yeah.
We've upgraded the show, guys. Two couches.
Cheers.
Yeah. Here, guys.
We're everybody, ready to pre-show cheers.
Cheers. Clink.
Welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. That's Kyle. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Doing well. By the way, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is the second week in a row that we have filmed an episode, which is a rarity for us these days. But yeah, we're back 2 weeks in a row for an episode. We're very excited to be back with you, and the trucks outside are very excited as well. I don't know if you guys can hear that.
It's a small road. Like, why do trucks?
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
Anyways.
But yeah, no, happy to be back, and summer has sort of truly begun to arrive with Memorial Day just passed yesterday, and summer weather has definitely started to feed into the area. I'd say it was a nice 80-degree day, which
easily.
But speaking of Memorial Day weekend, that is the focus of tonight's episode. Before I get into that, actually, quickly wanted to shout out our two sponsors, Simon Organizing and Wes Woodson. Thank you guys for your support of the channel. But yeah, so the focus of tonight's episode is going to be this past weekend, again, which was Memorial Day weekend, because Kyle and I went to another sporting event. And if you listened to the last episode, you actually heard me tease this a little bit during my final thought from last episode. And Sunday, just over 48 hours ago, Kyle and I made the trek to Gillette Stadium, home of the good old New England Patriots, but this particular weekend, home of the NCAA Lacrosse Championships. Both the men's and the women's title games and semifinals and all that good stuff were held over this holiday weekend. And Kyle and I, like I said, made the trip down to Gillette Sunday afternoon for the NCAA Division I Women's Championship game, which was held between the University of North Carolina and Northwestern. Now, if you watched our last episode, you heard me hoping that my BC Eagles would be in the championship game. Unfortunately, they came up a little bit short, losing by a goal to Northwestern in the semifinals. But still, was a great year for them. I mean, HSU get to the Final Four is quite the accomplishment. So, just raise the glass to the BC Eagle women's lacrosse team. But yeah, so the championship game was UNC and Northwestern, and as I think a lot of people, including myself, expected, UNC came out on top in that national championship game, defeating Northwestern to complete a perfect season. Undefeated was UNC during this 2025 season, and of course, again, they capture the national championship for the first time since 2022. It's actually the second time in 4 years that they've brought home the trophy. But Kyle, let's get into it, because obviously you and I had a great time. We always have a great time at sporting events, but definitely had a great time down at Gillette on Sunday. Just give us your initial takeaways from this experience.
Well, I'm just going to start right off the bat. That was probably the best seating arrangement that I've ever been to at Gillette Stadium. We actually ended up sitting very, very close to the game. We were like
4 rows from the field. Like we basically were 4 rows from where what would be behind one of the end zones. Like if you were at a Patriots game, like that's how close we were. We were like right down there, which is awesome.
Yeah, it was nuts. Like we had such a great view of the game, and like it was just like it was great seeing. Like it actually was a pretty good turnout. And it turns out too that we actually went there, and they had record-breaking numbers.
Yeah.
like a national.
I think it was
women's lacrosse title.
Yeah, I think it was the most attended NCAA women's lacrosse game like in history. That's what they said.
Unbelievable.
Almost 15,000 people in attendance. It was.
Yeah, that was. Cool.
And you could feel it too. It was just a great crowd and atmosphere for it. It was just pretty awesome.
Yeah. Everyone was super chill, and people were there. They just wanted to have a good time, and it was a lot of fun watching lacrosse. I think lacrosse is one of the better live sports to watch personally, because kind of like hockey, it's a very fast paced kind of sport. Like they don't take too many stops. Yes, there's obviously timeouts, and stuff like that, but I would definitely say it's kind of like in a similar pace of like hockey and basketball. It's constantly moving, and it's just fun to just because I'm not as familiar with lacrosse. Like I watched some games back in high school myself, but it's honestly it was just great. Like I've always had a fun time watching them, so I'd like to go back to watch some more actually. So that'd be really cool.
It just always amazes me, like watching lacrosse, just like the hand-eye coordination that like goes into trying to like catch the ball with the stick and like just all that. I don't know. I've always been so impressed by like the hand-eye coordination that goes into this, like I said, the sport of lacrosse. It's always been. I've always marveled at it. I was like, I could never do that.
Yeah. It was funny because one of the things I noticed, I noticed when they caught the ball, a lot of times they kind of like twist the stick around.
They cradle. They kind of like cradle it. Yeah.
So it's like I think we were talking about that. I was wondering is it because they don't want the ball to fall or get stolen, or is it just how you have to dribble it? We gotta have some lacrosse experts. So we know a couple of lacrosse experts in the area. So we'll get back to you on that one, guys. But.
Yeah, no, but it was just a fun game. I mean, it was relatively close. I mean, North Carolina won by a few goals, but that was sort of the next question I had for you, Kyle. Just sort of the teams themselves, North Carolina and Northwestern. Just sort of your takeaways from watching both those teams. Obviously, North Carolina was coming in as sort of the favorite in that tournament, and definitely showed why. But yeah, just sort of your takeaways from sort of both teams in general.
I mean. So it wasn't a complete blowout on either way. It was, I think they both started very strong. They were kind of at a bit of a stalemate for a little while. I think they both had one goal each, but then as the game progressed, you really saw like North Carolina. Oh my God, they were on fire. They had a fire end of the first half of the game there, and they were clearly leading, but. I will say, I will also give it to the other team too. Northwestern. They did not go down without a fight.
No.
They didn't just sit there.
I think most of the goals were scored in the fourth quarter because it was just
there was actually a little bit of time where I was thinking, you know what, Northwestern, they might be able to come back and actually win the title. But North Carolina, they really did hold their own though, and they definitely obviously they pretty much dominated.
I do have to give a lot of credit to the Northwestern goaltender because that game could have been a lot more lopsided scoring wise, but she actually played really, really well. And actually, I think I read somewhere that she set a school record for the most number of saves or something like that, in a single game during that championship game. So
unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely a lot of kudos to the Northwestern goaltender for a really well played game.
Cool.
So, but yeah, just like I said, it was just so much fun to be at. I mean, any chance you get to go to a sporting event at Gillette Stadium is, so well worth it. I think the last sporting event that I had been to there before Sunday was the fall of 2023. I went down to one of the high school football state Super Bowls down there. I mean, which was a great time as well.
That sounds awesome.
But yeah, anytime you get a chance to go to an event at Gillette, it's a good time. The one thing
I know where he's going.
You kind of know exactly where I'm going with this. I'm gonna put this out onto the airwaves right now. Is that the MBTA needs to run a consistent train through the Foxborough station? Because the fact that the only time that a train ever goes there is one train for Patriots games is the most ludicrous, ridiculous, just obnoxious thing I think I've ever heard of in my life. There's literally like a station just sitting there that basically is used, 8 times a year when the Patriots are at home, and that's it. Like, come on, guys. Yeah. Like, you're telling me people shouldn't be able to, like, get on the commuter rail to go down to, like, a lacrosse game, or even just to go to Patriot Place. Like, you're basically forcing everybody to drive, which is then, like, leading to all these traffic headaches and stuff like that's, like, it's ridiculous. Like, all the other pro sports venues in Massachusetts you can get to on the MBTA. TD Garden and Fenway Park you can get to very easily on either the Green Line or the commuter rail. Like, you have a commuter rail station at Gillette. Like, why can't we use it on a more, like, consistent, like, regular basis? Like, give me the rationale for why we cannot do that. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Will it ever change? Probably not, but you know what? Now I've put it out into the universe that I think it's just the absolute most ridiculous thing, so.
No, I agree with everything you said, yeah, like, come on. Like, it's a big, like, I consider it a destination place, because, you think about, like, in addition to, like, going to Gillette to watch the Patriots games, like, you also have Pat's Place, which is a pretty big shopping area, and it has, like, movie theaters and other, like, cool things you can do around there, so I feel like with all that going for it, I think they could do well with setting up some kind of, like, extra transportation thing, like, whether it means, like, bringing an extra train, extending one of the subways down there, although it might be really hard. No, but
literally is on a commuter rail, like, line already. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the thing. It's like there's a station there, so it's, like, already on a line. Like, I just don't get it.
They could do it. They got a lot of money down there, in the NFL and the crafts and everyone. They can do it. they have plenty of money to do it, so yeah. It's just a matter of, if they're going to do it.
Yeah, I just sometimes. Well, actually, all right. So hold on. Let me back up for a second, because it does say that apparently there's, like. Okay, so apparently, interesting. Okay, so maybe I.
We have an update.
Maybe I misspoke, because it's, according to this, according to this, like, the what's it called? The Franklin Foxborough line does actually run through that station on a somewhat regular basis, which I did not know.
Oh, okay.
I just thought they really just used it for, like, Pat's game, like, just during Pat's games. But I guess okay. So I guess technically, so that's weird. So why couldn't, like, people have ridden it on Sunday? Okay. So I guess they only run it during the week, like a couple of trains during the week.
Oh,
okay.
Gotcha. So they're kind of there, but in other
cases,
cases, not really.
So I guess you can't ride it on weekends.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of stupid. I still think it's kind of stupid.
Oh, it's still dumb, because, like, that's when
most people want to go. Like,
yeah, that's when they're gonna want to go see a movie, go to Pat's Place to shop. Like, it's like.
Yeah, like I don't.
Whatever.
Because, like, I'm like trying to look for, like, okay, so I guess like it just runs during the week. Like, there's a few trains that just run during the week, but I feel like it should go, like, all 7 days a week too. Okay. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't know that. I thought because I read somewhere, like, that you couldn't take the commuter rail, but I guess it just was for, like, the weekend was what they were referring to. All right.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, sorry, MBT. I didn't mean to blow up at you quite so hard, but I still think it should be done on the weekend.
Oh, 100%,
so, like,
yeah.
So, all right. Well, now that I've sort of put my tail between my legs here, I think we're gonna just go ahead, unless there's anything else you want to say about the experience. I think we're gonna go ahead and transition to the second part of our
I think we're good.
episode, as always, which will be obviously the Robbie's final thought and the Souz reviews. My final thought today, I think my final thought is just gonna simply be another congratulations to all the championship teams of the weekend at Gillette Stadium. So just a quick little recap of it. You had obviously North Carolina on the D1 women's side. You had Adelphi College who won on the D2 men's side. You had Tufts University just up the road here, by the way, who won for the D3 men's title. And then yesterday, Memorial Day, you had the Cornell, for the first time since 1977, brought home the title on the D1 men's side. So big congratulations to all those teams on a tremendous, tremendous accomplishment. Definitely something that those players will never, ever forget, especially again to play at like a venue like Gillette Stadium for a national title. Is just something cool. And actually, something that was really cool about the Tufts victory in particular, one of the Tufts players is actually Bob Kraft, owner of the Patriots' grandsons.
Oh, no way.
And so he got to play a title game at Gillette Stadium, which was pretty awesome. Yeah, a lot of Patriot and former Patriot connections to the weekend, because like, I don't mean to go off the rails here completely, but like I said, Bob Kraft's grandson, wins the title for Tufts. And then when it comes to like the University of North Carolina, who we saw win the title, one of their alumni is Drake May, now current Patriots quarterback, and the Patriots' former head coach, Bill Belichick, is now the UNC head football coach. So
yeah, that's right. Huh.
There's definitely a lot of connections there the more I think about it. But
it's like a web.
yeah, but just big congratulations to all the teams that were victorious over this weekend at Gillette, and again, raise a glass to you. But yeah, that's all I got for today's Robbie final thought. So I want to now turn the mic over, figuratively and literally. You know, I don't really have a mic to turn over, but I want to turn things over to Kyle for another riveting edition of the Souz Review. So take it away.
All right. So this weekend, I actually had the benefit of seeing a very strange but very funny movie called Friendship, and it stars Tim Robinson, who you guys may or may not know. He did a couple sketches on SNL here and there, and he also is part of. He had a couple famous shows too, like called kind of like, I guess you could say cult shows more, like the Detroiters, which actually you can watch on Netflix, and also more recently, I Think You Should Leave. Which Robbie, I'm sure, is very familiar with.
Watched many an episode with Kyle on that.
Yeah, so basically, if you've watched any of his shows, especially that show, I feel like I think you'll vibe with the movie a lot, because his humor is very different. Just to like start, like, it's very like weird. It's like a mixture of weird, funny, dark humor, just all kind of like bundled together in this like big cocktail of just sketches that he does. But in this case, it's essentially, it kind of to me felt like a 2-hour-long version of one of his sketches from that show, I Think You Should Leave. Yeah, it's basically like a series of it's like a sketch show that basically has a lot of different like comedians like guest starring in it. Sort of like SNL, but they're not like taped in a live studio. They're more just kind of like digital. They're essentially more like digital sketches. Like they're just kind of films more like in their own studio and everything. But so what do I think of Friendship? So basically it kind of, and also Paul Rudd's in it too. He's actually the second lead. So basically it has a lot of kind of not a lot. It has some similarities to I Love You Man, which was actually ironically another Paul Rudd movie that came out about a little over 10 years ago. So, but it's like a much weirder version of that, and the humor is just very out there. So basically, Tim Robinson plays a guy who pretty much oops, sorry, 1 second, I just gotta fix that. There we go. He plays a guy who basically who's neighbors with Paul Rudd's character. Paul Rudd's character is a weather reporter, and it's funny too. And this is the other kind of parallel I noticed about this movie too. So Paul Rudd's character, him being a weather reporter and having a mustache, kind of reminds you of someone, right? You know, someone that Paul Rudd may have played, maybe an Anchorman. You know, Brian Fantana. So he actually, and he even looks, it's funny, you look at him, he looks kind of like basically the modern day version of Brian Fantana. And he does the exact same thing that Brian does, you know, reporting the weather and all that stuff. So, oh no, wait, sorry. I'm sorry, no. Fact check myself here. It was Brick that reported the weather. Brian, I think, was like...
Brian was sports.
He was sports, yeah. No, actually, no, I thought Champ was sports. Champ kind. Champ was the other guy, I thought. Remember Whammy? He was a sportsman.
Oh, then Brian was the weather then.
Oh, he was no,
yeah.
Because I thought
Brick was the weather.
Brick was the weather. Well, either way,
what was Brian?
Brian, I think was like I think he was like a field reporter or something like that. That may
Oh, okay.
I forget. Either way, okay. I know you guys were all like, Kyle, what? But all right. So it was a movie. All right. So just to cut to the chase, the plot. So yeah, basically Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd's character basically moves to the neighborhood. He finds out that Tim Robinson's character is they find out that they're neighbors, and they basically Paul Rudd's character invites Tim Robinson's character over his house, and he wants to be friends with him, and his wife supports that, and Tim Robinson's wife, played by Kate Mara, she's like, yeah, go ahead, go hang out with him. You need more guy friends anyways. So basically, they hit up a friendship, but then things take a weird turn when it just, the movie descends into this awkward territory. It never goes too far, and it even as actually my own cousin put it, it feels borderline like a horror movie at times, but without being a scary movie, if that makes sense. It really ramps up the awkwardness and the creepiness in certain scenes, but it never becomes overly violent or anything like a horror movie. It doesn't become a slasher or anything like that. It's just a very weird movie, and I think it really depends on your humor. I've seen reviews, and I know people that weren't as big of a fan of it. They thought it was going to be more of a laugh out loud comedy. This one's more of a cringe comedy, so you got to kind of know what you're getting yourself into with this movie. It's 2 hours long, but it's you're oh, that's so awkward, and if that kind of stuff makes you laugh, then I think you'll enjoy this movie. But if you really have a hard time watching the more cringy stuff, oh, that's so awkward, oh, I can't, then I think you'll have it'll be a harder watch for you. So, I personally really loved it. I like that kind of comedy. I like weird, kind of dry humor. So I recommend it, but I will say this movie may not be for everyone. So if you don't like the Tim Robinson type of humor, if you watched his other stuff like the Detroiters and I Think You Should Leave, and you don't like that, you're not going to like this movie. I'm just going to say it right there. But if you do like his stuff, if you do like his type of humor, then I think you'll have a great time. So there you go. It's called Friendship. So it's in theaters now. So yeah, check it out.
Cool. Well, thank you, Kyle. That I hope that people, as always, take your advice because you definitely should if you haven't already. But yes, that is gonna wrap things up for another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. Again, as always, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Whether this is the first episode you've watched or if you've been with us since the start. And as always, you can find us right here on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Again, don't find us in real life, please.
No, don't.
Please, not worth it. Not worth it. Not worth it at all. Excuse me. You'll have to hear those things like that, and you don't want to hear that.
No, you don't want to be like Tim Robinson in that movie.
Yeah.
Just to give you a quick preview.
But again, big shout out to our sponsors, Zyman Organizing and Wes Woodson. Thank you as always for your support. And like I said, just thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's episode. We've had a great time. We hope you have as well. And that's going to do it for us here from these two chairs, talking some sports. And as always, until next time, he's Kyle, I'm Robbie, and we'll see you next time on a Couch Talking Sports. So long, everybody.